Hello everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you clicked on this video, prepare for your complete and utter doom. I may have changed the title by now, depending on when you see this video. I may not have. All I know is the title will be insane. I will probably make a pun about pregnancy somewhere along this video, so maybe the title will accurately reflect that. Maybe it won't. But this is how I got an ultrasound. And if you don't know what an ultrasound is, it's basically using sonic imaging techniques on a part of your body. It's almost like an x-ray, and it's like it shows an image, and you have to it's like when you're pregnant and there's a baby in your stomach. Of course, I would not know, or maybe I do know, but it's when they use the ultrasound imaging tool and they like scan the baby to make sure he doesn't become like the next world's greatest terrorist or whatever. Okay, but this is the story of how I got an ultrasound. This one will be bad. This one will make you cringe. So if you don't like that, click away right now. But if you're a regular, you probably are used to this stuff. Okay. So I was a senior in high school. That was around 4 years ago, because I'm a junior in college now. And it was during COVID and stuff. Or like COVID was just ending, so we were getting back to in-person stuff. And like I was weird and whatever. Like I'm just a weird person in general. You probably can tell that. But every time I go to sleep, you know that Bruno Mars song, the Lazy song. Bruno Mars is one of my favorite artists. One of the lyrics is, throw my hand in my pants. I put my hand in my pants every time I go to sleep, and it helps me go to sleep. And long story short, I was really scared because I had been reading about cancer, and I was like, dude, if I got cancer, that would suck. And so I was reading about cancer, and I was really paranoid about cancer and I was like wondering if the bumps on my body was like a tumor or something. But then I got really scared. I'm going to get a little bit graphic, right? I put my hand in my pants every time I go to sleep, and I just kind of put my hand there. If you don't know the male anatomy, you have two balls. We're talking about balls now. You got two balls. There was like a bump. What am I doing? Okay. There was like a bump, and for some unknown reason, I was like, dude, low-key, I feel like a third bump, and I'm only supposed to have two bumps. So then I'm like, dude, I'm cooked. Like, my career is over. If I actually have nuts cancer, then I won't hear the end of it. I will probably end. I will end before I ever hear the end of it. Cancer is not a joke, but like, that would suck. That would be the worst place to get cancer. And if anybody is struggling from that, or if anybody knows anybody that has had like balls cancer, I'm sorry, man. That you don't deserve that. So I got really scared. And I was like, Dad, oh my goodness, this was terrible. Because my dad's like this like strict dude. He's cool, but like, you know, he's like average Asian immigrant dad. And I was like, Pops, bro. Pops, I think I got like a tumor in my nuts. And he's like, what? And obviously, like, he's not gonna feel, right? And then so he just trusts my word, and we're like, all right, bet. We're gonna go get this checked out at this facility. And so we go to this facility, and I still have it pictured clearly in my head. because I may or may not have a photographic memory. I don't really know, but I have it clear in my head. It was like this dark blue room, right? It looked so sad in there, and it looked so sad, right? And there was like just chairs and carpet. It just looked like an old-timey place. And as soon as you walk in, you're like, wow, this place is dead, just dead. And I was there that day to get an ultrasound on my nuts. Think about that. Think about that. When have you ever heard that statement in your entire life? Like, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of like a crazy event in my life. Okay, so I was there to get an ultrasound on my nuts. And I was like, okay, they're probably just gonna, like, I don't know how they're gonna do this. They're probably just gonna, like, x-ray my nuts and make sure there's nothing bad in there. And so they take me to this insanely dark room. Like, it wasn't a hospital. It was, like, some sort of medical facility. But it was this dark room. No, like, there was a window, but the shades were down. It was completely dark. And they just told me, hey, take your pants off right now. I'm like, and so obviously I'm weirded out by the whole situation. But then I realized, okay, this is probably standard protocol at this point. And I'm betting all the nurses and all the workers probably hate me because they don't want to scan some 17-year-old kid's nuts. Right. And so I take off my pants, and my dad's just sitting there in the room. He's just like, this is probably the worst day of his life. This is the most embarrassing day of my life. But then I'm just sitting in the bed with a blanket covering my entire torso and my lower half, and there's a slit for my nuts. And that's it. Like, they were just hanging out there. And I was like, dude, this is the worst experience of my life. Like, I don't know if it can get any weirder than this. And I've never had an ultrasound before prior to this. So I'm just this, like, 17-year-old kid. I forget if I was 17 or 18. I was just this, like, 17-year-old kid. I'm like, dude, this is terrible. Like, I like, some old man's gonna, like, take a picture of my nuts or something. I don't know. And then this blonde woman walks in, and I'm like, yeah, this is terrible. Because think about this. If you're a dude in this situation, would you rather have, like, an old dude? Like, I'm trying to word this correctly. Would you rather have, like, an old dude, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Would you rather have it be an old dude or, like, a young lady or, like, an old woman or something? I think young lady was the worst possible situation, the worst possible outcome, because that's just prime awkward, right? Like, my nuts are hanging out, and the nurse is just, like, this young lady, right? So I'm like, okay, what are they gonna do now? Are they just gonna, like, legit, like, take an x-ray of my nuts and just see if anything's there? No. I did not know how an ultrasound works. I know now because of that day. They had to rub blue jelly all over my nuts so that the tool to scan could scan and appear on the screen. I got blue jelly rubbed over my nuts in this dark, menacing room, and all I could do was sit there like this. Top 10 most surreal experiences ever. Like, I would have trouble finding someone that can relate to this. But dude, and it felt so weird. Like, the jelly was just cold. It was cold. It was like ice. And it was like Jello. And so they scanned my nuts, and long story short, nothing was even wrong. It was just like a normal thing. And that is a story of how I became a pregnant woman for like 10 minutes. And not a lot of people know the story for a good reason, but I figured, hey, everybody wants to hear this story. And if you don't want to hear the story, you're lying. You wanted to hear the story. That's why you clicked and watched until this point. So yeah. Yeah, that's maybe not even the craziest story that I have. So if you guys want to subscribe for more content, silly business and other goofy stuff, then hit the subscribe button. We're legit under 20 subscribers away from 1K. That's insane. We've been going at it for like a little bit under a year, and we got 1K subs in that amount of time. So you guys are really crazy. Thanks for supporting me and for being here, because it means a lot to me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again.